You're about to witness an exceptional game that will make you fall in love with chess all over again. You don't have to be a child prodigy like Capablanca to enjoy playing chess, but it certainly doesn't hurt. At age 13, he narrowly won a famous 13-game match against Cuba's top player. The boy wonder took just 5 minutes for this clean victory and introduced a move that has stood the test of time. Okay, without further ado, let's enjoy the game. Corzo has the white pieces, and Capablanca has the black pieces. The game begins with e4, e5, knight c3, the Vienna game. A very interesting opening if you want to avoid tons of opening theory. Moreover, this was a quite commonly played opening in the 18th century. In a way, we can guess that Corzo played this to take the young prodigy out of the opening books. Knight c6, f4, the Vienna gambit. We can notice that the Cuban champion wants to play aggressive chess from the very first moves. He takes f4, knight f3, g5. This looks very similar to a king's gambit accepted, an opening that by the time this game was played had already fallen out of use. The king's gambit was quite popular in the 19th century, but over the decades it stopped being played because, objectively speaking, it is not a good opening, as it weakens one's own kingside too early. h4, attacking the pawn. g4, knight g5. h6, attacking the knight. Knight takes f7. King takes f7. d4. White's knight sacrifice is known as the Hamp-al-Ghair gambit. Inferior is queen takes g4 because of knight f6. Queen takes f4 and bishop d6 when black gains the initiative. Let's get back to the game. As I said, d4 was played by Corzo. Capablanca d5. E takes d5. Nowadays, bishop takes f4 opening the f-file is considered more promising. On knight takes d5, f3, g takes f3, knight g e7, bishop c4, knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, check, king g7, bishop f4, bishop e7. White lacks compensation for the sacrifice piece. Back to our game. As I mentioned, e takes d5 was played by Corzo. Capablanca queen e7 check. King f2. g3 check. King g1. Knight takes d4, the only move, and in fact, the best one. Queen takes d4. Queen c5, forcing the exchange of queens. Knight e2. Queen b6. Kappa's new move, a prepared variation, which has held the field ever since. The old line was bishop g4, bishop e3, f takes e3, queen takes g4, and white is okay. Let's get back to the game. As I said, queen b6 was played by Capablanca, a very good move. Corzo queen takes b6, pawn takes b6, knight d4, bishop c5, pinning the knight, c3, rook a4, putting pressure on the pinned knight. Bishop e2. Bishop takes d4, check. C takes d4. Rook takes d4. Capablanca won a pawn. b3. A clear mistake. Better was bishop h5 check. King g7 and b3. This would offer slightly more resistance. Back to our game. As I mentioned, b3 was played by Corzo. Capablanca knight f6. Obviously not rook takes d5 due to bishop c4 pinning the rook, and black would suffer a sudden and crushing defeat. Let's return to the real game. As I said, knight f6 was played by Capablanca. Corzo bishop b2, attacking the rook. Rook d2, attacking both bishops. Bishop h5 check. Knight takes h5. Bishop takes h8. And we reach this position in which white has a material advantage, an exchange up, but worse piece coordination. The rook on h1 is trapped. On the other hand, we can see that the black pieces are perfectly coordinated, and this marvelous child is going to take full advantage of it. The game continues with f3. Nice move. The young genius clears the f4 square because his knight is heading there. G takes f3. Knight f4. Bishop e5, attacking the knight. Rook g2, check. King f1. Rook f2, check. King e1. Knight d3 check. And here white resigns in view of king d1. Knight takes e5, and black has material advantage and more active pieces. Spectators were convinced that a new morphe had emerged, but their enthusiasm was short-lived. Just a few months later, Capa lost both games to Corzo in the Cuban National Championship. Of course, Capablanca more than made up for it 20 years later by taking the World Championship from Lasker. So there you have it, a glimpse of Capablanca's extraordinary chess skills at just 13 years old. I hope you enjoyed the game and my analysis. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.